Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon from a cold and windy and dull Edinburgh. Hope it's sun shining where you are, especially if you're in the States. I hope it's a bit sunnier there or wherever you are. So thanks again for tuning in today. And just to remind you that we'll be having sort of questions at the end. So if you just really sit back and enjoy the session by Rhona Matthews from Talking Mats. And probably be about 20 minutes, and then after we can ask a question. So if you've got any questions, just pop them into the box below. And sun's shining here in the borders, so life is good. Oh, that's great stuff. Okay. So what we're going to do now is we're just Rhona's going to be showing some information on her iPad, and then we've got a video to show you. So we're just going to share the screen now. Okay. So just let Rhona introduce herself while I'm doing that. Okay.
Thanks, Craig. Good afternoon, everybody. It's great to be here at Call Scotland, and I want to thank Craig for being my technical supporter. Talking Mats grew out of research at Stirling University, and we're now a social enterprise. What I'm going to do this afternoon is show you some different examples of Talking Mats. I'm going to demonstrate some of the features, and as Craig said, look at a film and show you the digital app and think about the actual elements about it that make it support communication. At its heart, Talking Mats is a person-centred approach. It's about passing over control to what we call in Talking Mats terms the thinker. On this webinar, we're going to focus on the first two levels of this person-centred framework, and the third level, which is about managing risk for people in complex situations. We also have resources that support that, but today we're just going to think more closely about the first two. So the first level of that person-centred approach is about engagement, supporting people to have a chat and quickly getting to know someone. So here's an example of a mat that I did with a little boy who has reduced language skills and severe speech difficulty. It was used with the purpose of having a conversation and support him to share his thoughts around a topic I knew he was interested in. It levels that communication playing field, and for him it took the pressure off his language skills and his speech skills. We used it to have a conversation. He added his own thoughts, which is the one for cricket, and he did that through speech and sign, and we made a blank, which is one of the elements of Talking Mats, so it became more personalised to him. The second level of this person-centred framework is about enabling and supporting people to make decisions and set meaningful targets. Talking Mats can be used at that level too, and we have a lot of resources that support that shared decision making and sharing of views. So this was a mat done again with a little boy who was moving from nursery into primary school, and the person did a mat on the topic of his new school and how he felt about starting school. The top scale used there was things he was happy about, things he wasn't happy about, and things in the middle. And he brought up that he wasn't happy about having to wear the uniform. So this gave the listener more information about how that child was feeling about starting school. This is a picture of a mat done in a nursery where they used Talking Mats a lot with the young children. And they used one of the wellbeing indicators, the SAFE, and they used it to get an idea of how all the pupils in that nursery class were feeling as regarding feeling safe. Safe's quite an abstract concept, but through Talking Mats you can make these abstract concepts more concrete. So all the elements were used and the child was asked how they felt about each of the elements. And this gave the staff more of a focus as to what was going well in that young person's life and what was harder. So it's used, again, using the GERFEC framework to get an idea of how that child's feeling about their life. What I'm going to do now is, if you haven't seen a talking mat before, just demonstrate some of the key principles. So we always have a topic. So the topic for this is expression, the things you say or the way you express yourself. We always have a top scale, and the language of that can change. So for this topic, I wanted to find out what this person found tricky, what they found easy, and what was in the middle, what was sometimes tricky or sometimes easy. And then what we do is we break that topic expression down into individual chunks and present them to the thinker to consider one at a time. So the first symbol that I handed to that person was using the phone, and this person said, yeah, that's easy, because they find texting easy. The next one was starting a conversation, and this thinker said, no, that's tricky for me. And the next one was ending a conversation, and the person placed it between the midpoint and the easy section. They found that aspect of having a conversation easier than starting it. So you build up the conversation visually, and it stays constant, so the thinker can see their thoughts building up. So for people with memory difficulties, with attention difficulties, it stays there and they get an idea, and then you can use that to have further discussion and help make meaningful targets, as we said, at that second level of person-centered engagement. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you one of our resources that we have on the digital app that we use with children and young people. So if you bear with me, I'm going to switch from PowerPoint to the app. So talking mats can be used with an actual mat, and yes, we do use doormats because they're cheap, but what it does, it provides a space, a thinking and listening space. So any shape at all, any material at all that provides that space to have that conversation, you can use. So we have the mats and the cards, but we also have most of our topic sets available as a digital app. So this is what my dashboard looks like. The user gets a logon, and on the left hand side of the screen you can see different folders, and within each folder individual mats are stored by topic and the date they were done. So for example, if I go into Archie, there's different mats with different dates. So a teacher could buy one license and have folders for each pupil.
It's just taking a bit of time to... Could you maybe just go back to Archie again? Is that okay? It's just taking time to... That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, sorry, just
okay.
a bit of... Yeah,
no, that's it.
Now.
So if I go into different folders, there's different... It's all the mats I've done for these individual people. So what I would do is I would add a new session. I'm just going to show you some of the examples. So the bottom right, if I click add a new session, it has a range of our resources. I'm going to select children and young people, and we have 3 different sets to represent the ages and stages, and the concepts vary slightly according to the age, and the visual representation changes as well. So for example, the symbol for friends looks different for early years than it does for secondary. And the indicators in our children and young persons resource are taken from GERFEC and also from the WHO International Classification Framework of Functioning and Disability for young people. So it's taken from a national framework but also an international framework. So with your logon, you can log on either to an iPad, to a laptop, or a smart board. We have teachers who use it with groups. So I'm just going to show you the secondary school. So what's in that? I'm going to click on secondary school. So for secondary pupils, there are 3 topics. And for those of you familiar with the GIRFEC framework, they represent each of the points on the triangle. And if you do these 3 topics with a young person, it gives you a holistic overview of how they're feeling with their life. So for example, if I go into My Wider World, I'll tap on that. What it does is it brings up all the symbols that are in that topic set. And at this stage you can deselect them, and you can also add. So the very top right says add local image file. So you could add photographs from your image file. I'm not actually going to tap it because it'll take you into my personal camera roll. I don't want my holiday photographs being stored on Call Scotland's archives, but that's how you would add an image. So you can really personalise it. If somebody used equipment, you could take a photograph of the equipment and put it into your topic set. The second blue box down helps you to choose a top scale. And that's something we really focus on in Talking Maths training, is choosing a good top scale that A, the thinker is going to understand, but B, is going to give you the information you want, because that you can change the information by changing the top scale. So if I just click Start the Session, we've got the topic, and I've got things that are going well, not going well, and sometimes going well. So I would click Select a Symbol, and the first one is school and college. So you would say to the thinker, how do you feel about school or college? How's it going? And they would click and drag, either going well, not going well, or sometimes going well. So the mat builds up and it stores it, and you can then email that with a report. So just to save time, I'll just put one more on. So how are you feeling about the age you have to help you with learning? Okay, we'll do one more. How are you feeling about review meetings? So all these things that are really important in a person-centered way. It's getting that person's view about how they feel they're going. So if I hit actions in the bottom right and end this session, what it does is it stores it on the cloud. So you can access that from any other device by using your logon. I don't want to save a picture to my camera roll, but it will save it. And you can see underneath the whirring thing a report template. So you can do a report at that time and the actions from that session. Because Talking Maths is about changing things for people and listening to them and showing them that you can make changes to make things better. And often it's just small changes that make a difference for people. So it's syncing with the cloud and storing it. And then once that's done, if you look at the top right, it's still...
Yeah, the whirring thing's still whirring. But
yeah, it stopped on mine. It's almost on yours.
Might be worth maybe just tapping into something to see if it's going to... There we go.
There we go.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. So if you see the top right, it's got email session. So if I click on that, what you can see is the picture of the mat is stored and this space where I could have done a report. And you can email that either to yourself if you're doing this out and about, or to the thinker themselves, because it is theirs. It does belong to them. So you get a personal log on, but organisations can buy multiple logons at a discounted price, and that's something you would get in touch via the website or just phone us at Talking Maths to discuss. So I'm just going to come out of that just now and go back to the PowerPoint, and it's just working. Good, that's it. So I'm just going to have a wee think before we show a film of a Talking Math in action. Why does Talking Maths work? Well, it has a strong evidence base, and the studies found that for people with learning disabilities and people with dementia and young children with social and emotional difficulties. It increases the quantity and the quality of information people give. And on our website are a lot of research papers about that. What Talking Maths does, it presents information and topics, and the conversation builds visually. It reduces the cognitive and linguistic load for the thinker. So although it looks very simple, Talking Maths is not simplistic, because the listener, the person who's facilitating the conversation, has done lots of planning beforehand. There's no right or wrong. It is not a test. So what we recommend is the training to go with it. Because it has this evidence base, it's important that people stick to the core principles, the key principles about open questions. That's one of our core principles, is about not leading people with closed questions. The training also focuses on giving the thinker time to process. So it's about supporting people to be silent, about being non-leading and non-judgmental. In fact, the listener's role is based on best practice interview techniques. So we really recommend training, and we have training in different sites, and we have an online training course. And all that information is available on the website. At this point, before we have any discussion, I'm going to hand back over to Craig, and he's going to show you a film of a little boy in a school doing a talking mat. Our resources take an overview of a topic, but often people want to go a layer deeper, and that's when people personalise it and make up their own sets, and we focus on that in the training as to how to set a question and how to break it down. So in this film, Laura is doing a talking mat with a little boy, and the topic is keeping calm, and the top scale is things that he feels help him and things that he feels doesn't help him.
Okay, just say it's possible that the video might stutter from time to time. It might just pause for a very second. It's just with the buffering speed. But stay with it, because I've seen the video and it's really excellent. So here goes. Okay, lasts for about 45 minutes. Is that right? Yeah.
About a few weeks ago, we did a talking mat, didn't we? Yeah. And one of the things that you'd said you'd like to sort of talk more about was staying calm.
Yeah.
So the mat today, I was hoping to find out a little bit more about what you feel helps you to stay calm. Okay.
Yeah, what helps me to stay calm?
Stay calm. Okay. So if you think that the picture I show you helps you, then you can put it under this bit.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, you can put the picture under here. If you think it doesn't help you, you can put it under there. Okay? And we can add things to it as well.
Yeah.
Okay? Right. So we'll start with this one. So how do you feel about drawing colouring? So that doesn't help you stay calm. How about having something to hold? Could be a squishy object or something. Doesn't help. How about thinking about breathing? So that helps you.
Yeah, because breathe 3 times make myself calm.
That helps you.
Yeah, that helps me. Yeah.
Good. How about, actually you've just said about that, so does counting help you feel calm? Do you think it helps you, or does it not help you? Doesn't help, okay. So that's like counting to 10. But you feel that breathing helps if you do 3 breaths?
Yeah, breathing.
Okay. How about reading a book? How do you feel about reading a book? Not sure?
Not sure.
Sometimes it helps?
Yes, sometimes it helps, yeah. Sometimes. Yeah.
Okay. How about listening to music? help?
Yeah, it can help with some.
Is it a kind of music that helps, or
Yeah, it's a kind of music, rock.
rock music? So rock music helps you
Yeah,
to stay calm.
yeah, rock music, yeah.
How about talking to a friend?
Talking to a friend, yes. It helps me, yeah.
How about talking to an adult? So that doesn't help. Okay.
Wait, does that say Captain America?
Yes, it does. Up there.
My favourite superhero.
So maybe thinking about Captain America,
Yeah.
does that help you stay calm?
Yeah, because once he even came to my house
Right. Oh, right.
and
Okay.
gave me a shield and an outfit.
That's amazing. So Finley, let's have a look at the mat. Is there anything you want to add to the mat? Anything that we haven't got on here that helps you to stay calm?
No, nothing I have to add.
Let me just check I've got this right then. So these are the things that don't help you to stay calm. Drawing or colouring, having something to hold, counting, talking to an adult, having thinking time, going outside and having a break. These are the things that you're not sure about. Reading a book.
Wait, having a break. Needs to go there.
You can put them wherever you want, okay?
Yeah.
Good, and you can change them, that's fine. So you're not sure about reading a book and moving around, but these are the things that you feel do help you to stay calm. So thinking about breathing, listening to music, rock music,
Yeah, rock music. Yeah.
talking to a friend,
Yeah.
having a quiet space, thinking about a calm time or place, and that's superhero
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
Captain America.
Captain America. Yeah.
Okay. Being still helps you,
Yeah.
and having a break.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you happy, or do you want to change anything about the mat?
I'm happy.
Okay, is it alright if I take a picture of it, and then that helps me to remember what you said to
Yeah,
me?
it's
Okay. And shall we have a think? Is there anything here that you'd like to do more of at school to help you stay calm? What do you think might help you stay calm in school?
talking to a friend.
So having some time to talk to a friend.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah, talking to a friend. Yeah.
So would it be useful for me to have a chat with your teacher about these things? These are the things that you find help you.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. Thank you very much, Finley.
Yeah.
Okay, so just a comment about that film. The action from that was to share that information with Finley's teacher, that certain things that are thought to help children he felt didn't help him. But an aside from that, Matt, was he took time to think for himself about the strategies that help. So that's quite a powerful thinking time for a young person. So I hope you enjoyed that speedy introduction to talking mats and could see the range of uses for children and young people.
I would just maybe just ask a question. Those strategies that you tried with Finley, did they have a sort of an outcome for him? Did he, was he more relaxed? Did he think he put them in place? Did it make a difference to him?
I think what the powerful bit about that was that people tend to think that holding on to these squidgy toys is the answer for all young people, but he said no, actually that didn't help him, and the thing that did help him was having time with a friend. So it was about the teacher trying to manage that, to give him that time, and him being confident that if he felt he was getting a bit hyper, that he could ask for that, and the teacher would understand.
Yeah.
So it's a practical outcome.
Yeah. So Linda's saying thanks, great video, and for modelling it for us, and Shirley as well. So if you have any questions you'd like to ask Rhona, please just pop them into the chat box below. Is there a website address we could post to let people know about it? Could I maybe just pop that into the box? Is it
www.talkingmats.com.
Okay.
We have a very active
talkingmats.com, yeah.
We have a very active Twitter page.
Okay.
We have a lot of followers and share lots of useful information. That's at Talking Mats. And that's a really powerful way. But yeah, if you look on the website, there's lots of information. I've just seen a couple of questions.
So Shirley's asking, what's the time commitment for online training, and is there a course starting soon?
The time commitment is about 12 hours, Shirley. You get a certificate at the end, and it mirrors our face-to-face training. So part of it is at the end you make a film of yourself doing a mat and submit it, and we give you feedback on that. And we found that people really value that learning, and it is the best way of reflecting on your own communication as a listener and embedding the principles in your practice. So it's about 12 hours. There is a course starting soon. I haven't got it in my head at the moment, but it's certainly on the website. I certainly know there's one starting the 4th of December because I'm the tutor for that one, but there might even be one before then. But if you look in the website, the date should be there.
Okay, thanks. Linda's asking, when you first introduce this, do you sort of illuminate the middle column?
Oh, good question, Linda.
Sorry, eliminate the column, not illuminate.
Eliminate the middle column. That's a good question. And yes, I think you can certainly do that. And some people manage what we call a 2-point scale absolutely fine, because that midpoint is quite abstract. And that often what people do is start to grade between the 2-point scale, and then you can introduce that midpoint. And often that's where you get that rich information. I mean, if somebody's not happy about something, that's fine. We try and say to people, there's always things that they'll not be happy with, to give them that permission to say that. But if someone puts something in the middle and doesn't say much, that's when you would want to do what Laura did with Finlay and make a submat, turn that into a topic and make a submat.
Okay. Lindsay's asking quite a good question, because we were just chatting about this earlier on, about have you done much with non-verbal, more complex needs students? And I think originally that's what Talking Mats really designed for, wasn't it?
It first started with people with cerebral palsy who didn't have spoken language. It doesn't replace other methods of communication, it works alongside them. So if somebody has an app on an iPad, they would do a mat beside it and use the iPad to give that supplementary information. A lot of work has been done, and in the effectiveness study, Lindsay, we found the level where people could use Talking Mats to express a view, and the level below where it was not a tool for them to express their view. It might help engagement, because we've had within the research, people notice better focus, better engagement, but using it to express what they were thinking, people need to have a certain level of cognition to do that. But do you know what we often say? Try it. Just try it, because you're not going to do anybody any harm, and you might be surprised taking a topic of interest to them.
Rachita's been very helpful in saying that the online course is starting on 30th of October. Is there a cost associated with it?
There is a cost for the online course, yes. There's a training cost, and you can also buy resources to go along with it, which increases it. Thank you, Rachita, for checking that out.
Does it matter which symbols that you use for Talking Mats? You know, I guess you could buy a mat from a supermarket or hardware store for next to nothing, but the sort of symbols, does it matter?
Yeah, you can use a variety of symbols, and you can use photographs. Photographs of places are fine. We often advise against photographs of people, because that's quite a personal thing, and there's a lot of detail in photos of people, and it's also quite hard to say anything negative about a photograph of someone. It's easier if it's a symbol and there's that one step removed. So yeah, photographs.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. That was really interesting. So I think we'll close the session now, unless you maybe have any last minute questions to ask Rhona. If you do, pop them in. If not, just say a big thank you to Rhona from travelling from Stirling to Edinburgh by train today. And just to say that this will be an archive, probably be ready sometime tomorrow on the COLA website. And everyone's name's anonymised, so don't worry about privacy. So yeah, so it'll be there and for you to view at your own leisure. So okay, thank you, Sharon. I think we'll just close up now.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. I've enjoyed sharing my love of talking mats with you.
And the technology worked as well.
The technology worked. Yeah, thanks, Debbie.
Okay.
Okay.